Hello everybody and welcome to our webinar concerning the questions of our users of HEFLO. I am Maxence, I'm working for Venki's company and I am consultant concerning HEFLO solution. Thank you to being here, and as you know, this concept of webinars to reply some questions of our different users. And this week we receive a question from a user that would like to know if it's possible to display in a form the possibility for the user who will execute the task, different choices that he can choose, one or several. It is this that we will see during this webinar of this week, and in particular, the different text and number fields. To illustrate and to reply to this question, we will use this process. It is a really simple process with two tasks, and in the first task, we will have a form. It's an empty form for the moment, and to be able to display different options to be selected by a user, we need to use a text field. So I will create a new one. We'll call it products. Okay, and I choose text. Before to enter to this kind of information, just to remember you that to edit a text field or any field, you can come here on the field, over the mouse and click on the pencil icon. From that moment, you have different options. For example, the classic ones are enabled. So if you don't want to enable it, you have to uncheck this option. After this, the behavior of this field will be to display only information. Required, so it obligates the user to fill in this field to be able to click next to go to the next task. And multi-line is to be able to fill in the field in different line, as the name suggests. For example, here, if I write text, test, and I click enter, I can't. I have to write all the field in a single line. But if I select this option, from that moment, if I click enter, you see, I can write the different elements in different lines. But now let's go back to the main subject to reply to the question of our users. For this, I will need to go back to the edition part of this field. And here, I will have to fill in the option in this part, in list items. So here I will put product A, product B, and product C. I don't need to put a space. Okay, you have to separate the different options with a semicolon. Okay, confirm. And from that moment, as you see, the system will provide me a list that I can choose. But you will see that if I let like this for a confirm and I will just run a test, so we'll take the existing one. As you can see, I have the list, but if I choose product A, I can't choose it at the same time product B. So we will need to choose something, set up something in the field to be able to do that. I go back to my form, I click on the edition, and here I have to convert to checklist. By default, it's a combo box, but if I click on checklist, from that moment, as you can see right now, I can choose 2 or the 3 products. Let's confirm this by running the same test work item. Okay, from that moment, you see, I can choose several options. And if I go back to the edition and I choose this time the radio list, it's kind of the same layout, but this time you can choose only one option. Click confirm. Let's go back to the test work item. Okay. And as you can see, if I choose A, I can't choose B at the same time, and if I choose B, the same thing. Okay. So, and here, just to show you, the combo box option is the first option that we see. Okay, now let's use this webinar to talk about different options that we can do with a text field. So here in my form, I will create another text field, user ID, for example. Let's pretend that in this field, we want to fill in the user ID of a user of your company. But this user ID has to follow a kind of pattern. So how can we do that? We can use the mask option that you can find here. For example, let's imagine that it's 2 characters, a dot, 2 characters, another dot, and 3 characters. Okay. From that moment, if I set up this option, then if I confirm and I have to write something, the system will obligate me to follow this pattern. So I will put A, B, C, D. You see, between the two, there is a point, and U, F, J. And if I put other character, you don't see, but I'm pressing the letter A, I can't. And if you want to put some number, you can also. So with this option, you obligate the user to fill in information following the layout that you want. And if you want to fill in only number, it's possible, but you have to keep a text field option. But instead of putting A, you have to put 0.00. I take the same layout, okay? I confirm. Let's take the work item. Okay, so from that moment, I will, and let's imagine I'm typing A. Nothing happened. I have really to put some number for this case. And you see, it's follow the layout. And if I click more on 7, for example, nothing happened because I'm reaching the maximum amount of number that I can put on this field. There is also another option for this kind of feature is to reverse the mask. For example, here, I don't know if you notice this, but if I take back this work item, when you write the element, it's follow 2 number, 3, 4 number, you see with the point, and the 3 at the end. But if you choose the reverse mask option, so let me choose, okay, I confirm. From that moment, it will write the same thing, but giving the reverse information, you see? So at the end, you have the same information, but for the user that will fill in the information, it will be a user experience a little bit different. It's up to you to choose the option that you prefer. Now, let's talk about the option. I will take here placeholder. Well, I will take it off the option of reverse marks. Here, you will write a message, and this message will appear inside of the field. So, for example, here, I will say you put the user ID. From that moment, if I click confirm, the user will be able to see this information in the field where this one is empty. So here it's empty, put the user ID. And from that moment, you put one character, or in my case, a number, this information is not displayed anymore. The last information I would like to show you about text information is about regex. And for this, I will create a new text field. I will call it email address. Okay. The text. Okay. Just imagine that you want that the user fill in an email address here, but you want to be sure that he will fill in an email address, which means the format of an email address. You have the possibility to force him to put this. And for this, we are using this option, regular expression. Regular expression is known on the web to put some restriction to obligate the user to fill in an email address, for example, but it could be something else, like a zip code, depend of the country where you are. So if you need this, I will share you at the end of the meeting in the chat documentation where you can find this kind of information. But also you can find this information easily on the internet. For example, I have a tab open in the search in Google with regex email, and the first site that I will find will give me this information. So for example, here, if I copy paste this information in my regular expression, let's confirm and then see what will happen. Here, okay, I will write something AA, for example, and I will click out. You see, validation does not match because it doesn't match the regular expression that I put. So here I will put bbb@ccc.com. And from that moment, you see, I'm following the layout of an email address. So from that moment, the system doesn't show me my text as an error, and it will not avoid me to go to the next task. And you see that, let me put the error message, validation does not match. If you want to custom it, it's possible. Let's go back to the form. And here you have to put something. You have to set, or you have to put an email address. Okay, I confirm. And from that moment, let's put something that doesn't correspond to an email address, and you see you have the text that you set up that is displayed on the work item. Now let's talk a bit about number field. I will add number field. So here, number. So first information you can allow or now the decimal. In my case, I will not allow. Okay. And in the option, you have the different options that you see here. We saw a little bit before. I didn't talk about the rules, the business rules, but you have the possibility to display the field or let him enable by creating a business rule. Okay, but this kind of information we can see in another webinar, and there is also a course in our academy for this and documentation in our knowledge base. But here, concerning this option and number field, you have the possibility to set up a minimum value and a maximum value. So let's imagine I will put minimum value 5 and maximum value 10. So let me just go back here. For my exercise here, I will just take it up some fields because I don't need them anymore. Remove. I will just keep the number 1, confirm. Okay, let's go back to our test. Okay, I put 4. I have a message error, as you can see, because it's less than 5. So the message is quite explicit. It isn't a value greater than or equal to 5. And if I put 11, I have the same problem. I didn't show before, but if I click next, you see it's exactly like the regex element. When I had the message error, I can't click next to go to the next task. But if I put 10, from that moment, it's okay. Guys, I think it's what I needed to show you today. Thank you for your attention. Thank you for your participation to our different events with HEFLO. Don't forget that this event is every 15 days, and you can send us your different questions to help us to prepare this kind of event. You have different possibilities for this. You can, for example, use our chat tool here by clicking on this button, and after you will be able to reach our support team if you have a paid account. If you don't have a paid account, you can also, here I don't have the possibility to show you, activate your trial, okay? by clicking on the red card that will be available here. If you want more information for this, we have also a webinar that explains step by step how you can activate your trial or how you can subscribe to HEFLO. And before to finish, remember that you can access our knowledge base and all information by clicking here, for example, or clicking here, okay? And from that moment, you will be able to access our knowledge base in the language that you set up in your profile account. Remember, our knowledge base is available in 4 languages: English, Portuguese, Spanish, and French. That's all that I wanted to show you today. Thank you very much for your participation and see you soon. Bye-bye.